Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of today's guests, including Farhan Lalji, brought to you by the Vancouver Giants. Giants are at the LEC for 2 games this weekend. Friday, they take on the Blazers at 7. Sunday, they face Prince George, powerful Prince George, at 4. And they also play in Kamloops on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, big one.
Crazy travel. Grab your tickets for the Giants' final 3 home games at vancouvergiants.com/tickets. Barclay Barnetta of the Giants is going to join us just after 11 o'clock. We're getting a lot of this in the Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox from J-Rock. I agree with Donnie.
Yeah, right.
Timing of the fight was wrong. Also, Miller doesn't exactly need someone to stand up for him. He's quite able to take care of himself. J-Rock, bang on. Just one of the many people
he's
agreeing
a star
with
player.
Me in the Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox.
Star player. You defend.
I didn't have a problem with the fight. I don't know why we're talking about it. It didn't have a whole lot to do with the game. Hey, you're up 3-0. You didn't have to do that. And Zadorov played well. He got a Gordie Howe hat trick.
If 3-0, if it's the time to do it, you got a lot of leeway to do it. And
Yeah,
you send
you
a
do?
message. You send a message to the other team.
What was the final score?
They got a point.
I don't look. It wasn't the be all and end all of that game.
No,
the 3-1 goal was the key moment in the game. It gave them life, and on they went. Look at that third period. Farhan Lalji joining us now from TSN 4-3 Avalanche over the Canucks in overtime. Farhan, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm good. And was it even a fight? Like, could you even call it a fight? There was one punch thrown, and it didn't connect. It just caused both guys to lose balance and go down. Like, I get that argument that, you're up. Like, there's no gain in it for you at that moment to drop them. But the way that fight turned out, there was no there. Mm-hmm. People got excited. There was, like, come on. I'm sure JT went up to Zadorov, and rather than thanking him, saying, come on, would you connect at some point here? But no, I don't know. Again, in other situations, I feel it, but in this one, because just nothing happened in the fight, I just don't think that any momentum was gained or lost.
Okay, right. Zadorov went down, and I guess he won the fight. All right, Canucks up 3-0. At one point, they end up losing. Other than the fight, which we'll agree to disagree on, what did you see? What did you see from the Canucks?
I saw 2 really good periods, right? And maybe I'm turning into this glass half full guy, but I thought they were dominant in the first half of the game. And that goal changed it. And that goal makes you worry, right? Because it makes you think, wow, you're still up 2 goals. There's still a lot at stake in this game, and you should be able to find a way to close it out. And all the things that Rick Tocchet accused them of doing afterwards in terms of soft on pucks and things like that, we're there. I mean, it was plain to see. They took away the middle of the ice and adhered to all of Rick's staples. But in the third period, all those staples were unraveling. I mean, Colorado was able to get tons of speed through the neutral zone. Vancouver's best players weren't necessarily their best. So it was disappointing or disheartening to just see how quickly it fell apart for them against a good team in the third period. But at the same time, I thought in the first 2 they were totally dominant, full value, doing a lot of great things. And it's late in the year to be learning lessons, but hopefully there was one for them to be learned there, because it was right in front of them, and they failed that third period test.
It was so strange because the Canucks had the 3 days between games, couple of days off.
Yeah.
Colorado played the night before and thumped Calgary as 6-2, but they looked so much more fresher as the game went on. How impressive, and this is the obvious question, but how impressive was Nathan MacKinnon? He just took that game over, I thought.
Yeah, he did. And you want to see that from a guy like Elias Pettersson, right? And Nathan MacKinnon went through a lot of hard lessons earlier in his career, and now he's as good as anybody in the league. Nikita Zadorov said he's the best player in the world, and I have a tough time arguing, right? Like, in terms of pure talent and breathtaking speed, Connor McDavid's that guy, and in terms of goal scoring ability, Austin Matthews is great, but a complete game that can do it at both ends of the ice at the most important times of the game. Sign me up for all Nathan MacKinnon all day, right? And, I think JT Miller is headed in that direction, and he shows that in big moments, right? Big moments aren't too big for him, but, you look at Elias Pettersson, and there was kind of, it wasn't bad, but he certainly wasn't as dominant as we've seen. We haven't seen that from him in some time, but you want to see that from your best players at the most important times of games, and Nathan MacKinnon is that guy.
Well, we haven't talked about Thatcher Demko and the fact he's going to be out. It's week to week. It could be 4 weeks, some people are hearing. But the schedule is soft. 5 of their next 7 against non-playoff teams. But this team is, lost their number one goaltender for a while. But I thought DeSmith played well last night, though. He fought hard.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know how you blame DeSmith on any of those goals. Two of them were shorthanded goals, and the overtime winner, right? Like it's like the JFK bullet, right? Like the double bounce and everything. And I don't. He said afterwards he didn't see it. You couldn't blame him. And I have a difficult time blaming him on any of those goals. So, you can look at what they were doing or weren't doing defensively in front of the net to tie people up and things like that as the stakes grew larger. But DeSmith wasn't the problem. And, I think from a Canuck perspective, as well as they played in the first two periods against Colorado, can they do that again against some of these teams? Because I think if you can put them away and maybe they don't fight back. But if you let some of these teams hang around, none of them are out of it. Like they might be out of the playoffs, but they're not out of it, except maybe Montreal and, maybe Calgary has kind of decided that. But Buffalo's certainly not out of it yet. And Washington's certainly not out of it yet, and they're fighting, right? They believe they can get in, so you're going to get desperate teams coming in those games. So on paper, it looks like the Canucks have a huge advantage going into some of those games, but they better show up all the way through.
All right, a lot of NFL news this week, but I want to get your thoughts on Nathan Rourke in New England. They signed a quarterback. What does this all mean? Where does he fit? What kind of piece in the puzzle is he there? What's his future look like?
Yeah, I mean, some of the decisions haven't been a surprise, right? I mean, we knew that they were going to go out and get one of these veteran guys, and they're expected to draft one at number 3. So Jacoby Brissett, I wasn't surprised that they signed him. The amount and the guarantee, right? Like that's different, right? He gets $5 million signing bonus and $1.5 million as base salary is guaranteed. So it's going to be tough for Nathan to supplant that, right? And we saw that with CJ Beathard with a much lesser guarantee, and even that, what wasn't in Nathan Rourke's favor. As far as getting rid of Mac Jones, I think we expected that. I'm curious to see what happens with Bailey Zappi. Right now, the money on Zappi and Rourke is virtually identical. So, are both of them competing for the 3? Because Nathan was told he'd get a chance to compete for number 2 again. So, my understanding is that the Patriots really, really want to have whoever they draft sit and wait the first year. And if that happens, then maybe Nathan's got a chance to work with Jacoby Brissett and get playing time, whether injury or ineffectiveness. Hopefully he gets that opportunity. But, you will see, right? I was so disillusioned for Nathan seeing how the Jacksonville situation played out last year. I'm hopeful that this is a little bit better for him.
And quickly, Farhan, Russell Wilson, a fit in Pittsburgh?
I suppose, right? I mean, this is Russell's last chance. So all the BS that we've seen late in his Seattle career and early in his Denver career, where it was so much more about legacy and brand and all of that nonsense, I think he's been humbled. I don't think Mike Tomlin's going to put up with any of that, and I think Russell knows this is his last chance. Is he better than Kenny Pickett? Probably. Is he better than anybody they've had there since Big Ben? Probably. Is he Russell of old? Hell no. So I think, can he make him a little bit better? Sure. Had a chuckle talking to JT Miller after the skate 2 days ago or yesterday. And he said, boy, now I got to cheer for this guy because Russell's not an easy guy to like at this stage of his career. And JT Miller's a massive Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So he was kind of, conflicted at his favorite team having this guy and having to cheer for him. So is it a good fit? We'll see. There's certain things in that offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith's offense, where he likes to attack the middle of the field, which isn't necessarily Russell's strength. So we'll see what it looks like, but I think he probably beats out Kenny Pickett to be the opening day starter in Pittsburgh.
Farhan, thanks for this. We'll talk to you next week.
See you, boys.